How do cEDH players shuffle and why do they do it that way? First off, let's make sure that all this stuff is set up correctly. No watch, those things tend to catch cards and swipe them off the table. Not good. First thing we're going to do is count. So we'll start with one pile shuffle, do it one time, and that's to make sure that we have everything. Some people, in order to count their cards, need to put those down in order. I like to put mine down in somewhat of a randomized pattern. I also have a random number of piles. I don't do the same number of piles. I'll just kind of put them down, and however many I have is however many I have. I just don't have a specific number, and I don't count because I don't want to have an influence over the next number of piles next time. So what you're seeing I'm doing is just scooping these right off of the table. Sometimes I'll even like do a little cut right here, so I'm not scooping them off in that specific order. Maybe I'll even give it a shuffle like just like that as I'm picking up the piles, but I'm just verifying that I have 99 right here in the 99 and that my commander is right there for that solid 100. Okay, so we can't have anything covering this area. This mic is about as low as you want to go. So no fanny packs, no vests in particular. I like vests. Having a hoodie in the way, that zipper, make sure that you're not getting caught there. I use my belly. I look basically just like this, and then I tilt it. That way, you don't want anybody saying that you are looking at that card right there. And you don't want to know what that card is yourself, because if you see that card, you need to randomize again to make sure that you don't know where it is. So slightly tilted, touching the belly. We're going to have two halves, and we're going to just start with a nice little mesh like that. And then I take just a little bit off the bottom, and then we're going to mesh it in just kind of in a randomized area. You're like, oh my goodness, isn't this bad for your cards? No, not necessarily. I have my workshop. Okay, we're seeing I'm transitioning here, and we're going to rotate and then take just about two halves. If you got bigger hands, you can get, a different size chunk. If you got smaller, but mine are pretty small. And so I'm pretty towards the middle area when I'm making my cuts. And then we're just going to mesh those together somewhere like that. Let's mesh those together in a different area, maybe some cards on either side. And then my hands are back in this position, so how about let's just take a couple of those off the top, or excuse me, off the bottom and mesh them in, and maybe we'll put them in the top, in the bottom. We just changed where we mesh those things. And again, I'm doing this kind of like working it together motion, meshing those together. And then if one pops out the top, we just pop it right back in the side. That tends to happen, and that's when I'll lose cards. I drop a lot of cards, but the reason why we need to randomize is that we build our deck in order to have a randomized experience. It's one, the rules, but two, you're never going to get a big, great hand with all the cards that you need if everything is distributed in a non-randomized pattern, if it's all even. So you need to have a sufficient shuffle if you've done some deck building in order to get it super randomized. Okay, that's what I got.